studying for the IELTS exam, what do I need to review first for it? Is it the writing, listening, or speaking, which is, I think, the most difficult? To the whole panel, what would you suggest for
I think
Peter?
it depends for Peter. It depends entirely on which areas are weak for him. Because I mean, of course, speaking is the most difficult one, because that's the one that you need to get a band score 7 in. But it very much depends on the person. And you, for example, you could have, like Eagle, for example, you could have taken the exam many years ago, and you passed in listening, reading, and writing, and you think to yourself, okay, I only need to focus on speaking. But then there's been candidates that I've seen in Facebook groups in the past who've then decided, I'm just going to focus on speaking and I'm not going to focus on the other ones because I passed those, and then they end up failing in the ones that they originally passed in. So I think it's really important to do a diagnostic at the beginning with a provider like Swoosh or Niner, and then you can find out exactly what your weaknesses are, because you might think your weaknesses are one thing, and then when you do an exam readiness test like we do at Swoosh, it's kind of like a predictor test. You actually find out that you're weak in other areas. So I think it's first and foremost, you need to understand. It's like going to a doctor, okay, or going to a nurse. In this case, we are the doctors, we are the nurses, you are the patient. So we have to diagnose what the symptoms are, what your problems are, and then we can then really put together a strategy for you to find out, okay, this is the journey. You're here now, you're anxious, you're overwhelmed, you're scared, or you're feeling depressed about the situation like Eagle was, and then you went along this journey with Swoosh like Eagle did, and then he was able to pass first time with us. So I think it's important to see it like that. I don't know if, Scott, you want to build on that.
I'll give my opinions in a second. I'll let Irvin give his response first.
Well, number one, we need to establish your baseline. We have to know your current level, because we cannot move forward without knowing where you are at right now. So this is not just for Peter, it's also for Katrina and for Theresa, the other questions. Two important tips. As mentioned by Swoosh English earlier, self-studying is dangerous because no one can tell you if you are ready. A lot of people depend on YouTube, but YouTube videos cannot tell you what's wrong with your speaking performance or what you have to improve on in your output. That's why, first things first, you have to feed your mind. Why? You cannot give what you do not have. The more that you feed your brain, the more substantive your answers are in both writing and speaking. At the same time, confidence is everything. Why? If you don't believe in yourself, then how can you convince your examiner that you deserve that 7 in speaking? So before I end my contribution for tonight's talk show, I just want everyone to know that you have to believe that you can be better than who you are now. If you choose to live your life as a victim of your past choices or of others' judgments, then you do not believe that you have the power to change it. Unlearn this lie, starve your fears, and keep on trying, because you'll never know. One beautiful day, you'll make it in the examination and you're just one step closer to the United States of America.
Thank you, Irvin. One beautiful day. That's what we want for everybody. Scott, any final words on the IELTS?
Well, I just want to back up and elaborate on really what Alex and Irvin said, and that is that first and foremost, the IELTS exam is a difficult exam because you do need to be able to provide English at a high level, upper intermediate to advanced. But at the same time, it's not an impossible exam, and that's the attitude I do see from a lot of candidates. They believe the IELTS exam is not for me. I don't have the intelligence. I don't have the skills. Well, you know what? Everyone has the intelligence to pass this exam. You might not have the skills as at this point, but skills can be learned and skills can be applied. And in order to develop those skills, you first of all have to benchmark where you currently are. Where am I in my IELTS success story? And to do that, you need to start off by benchmarking yourself. Okay, if I were doing the IELTS exam today, what would I score? Right, I've scored this in reading, listening, writing, and speaking. What areas am I strong in? What areas am I weak in? How can I improve my areas of weakness? And how long will it take me to get there with the right tips, strategies, methods, feedback, and support? And that's what we do very well here. We want to make sure that you can develop those skills, and you will develop those skills with the appropriate tools, the appropriate support, the appropriate feedback. Because the more that you see your progress from an area you're initially at to an area you want to be, what happens to you? You're not frustrated, you're not angry, you're not in disbelief. You'll be in disbelief because you realize, I can do this, I'm making progress towards that. That creates a confident and motivated you, and a confident and motivated you is the place you want to be in order to get your IELTS result. So, big takeaway today is really consider exactly how you're going to prepare for this exam. Do you want to pass the first time ideally, or if not the first time, the next time you take the exam? And do you want to actually enjoy the process and not pull out your hair at the end of every day if you think it's not for you? So trust in yourself, trust in the experts, make the appropriate investment towards doing so. It will pay you off many times. And I'd love to see you guys there. Much, much happier people.
Thank you, Scott. And I like the word that you use there, investment, because it really is your investment in yourself. It's not something that you can just know. It's not an indicator of your intelligence. And it's really an investment to learning the skills from the experts.